Hello there, I'm David Navarro, and I'm here to talk about La Estafa Maestra, which was a big case of corruption that happened in Mexico not so much ago. And what is it? What happened? Well, it was a major case of corruption that was revealed in 2017 that involved 11 federal agencies that contracted some public universities, who then contracted some companies, which turned out to be ghost companies or non-existent, or that they didn't really took any action about what they were contracted to do, and instead the money used for the contracts disappeared and appeared in the hands of someone else. And what type of corruption is this? I think it is pretty obvious what type of corruption it is, but the misuse of public funds through fraudulent contracts. There's also this between government agencies and public institutions, which then subcontracted to shell companies that never provided any real services. This, for once, is administrative corruption. It is also collusion of and embezzlement, obviously, and finally, it is also systematic corruption. So it is these three types of corruptions mainly. And what are some causes and consequences? Causes, well, weak oversight and auditing mechanisms within the legal framework of the country. They use some loopholes to withdraw information from the public that could have helped, well, someone to do anything about what was happening. Some consequences, well, a massive loss of public funds, which appeared in the hands of some people that weren't supposed to have it, a loss of also public trust for the government and the universities, and also the loss of financing in some public institutions, in this case, obviously, the universities that didn't really receive the funds that they were supposed to have. Some agents involved, well, mainly they were high-ranking officials in Peña Nieto's government, probably also Peña Nieto, and Rosario Robles, who was Secretary of Social Development at that point. Well, she took a lot of the blame and was a key figure for this case. Also, obviously, the public universities and high-ranking people within the universities. And at last, the companies, which, as you can see in this image, 11 of them were ghost companies, and 9 of them are probably also ghost companies, and so on and so forth, with companies that weren't really established or really didn't exist, actually. So yeah, a lot of them didn't really exist. The after, well, after this was exposed in 2017, there was a public outrage, and Rosario Robles was actually arrested in 2019, but she was then later held off in 2022, so she's free now. In 2020, as of 2025, there's no high-ranking officials that have been convicted related to the case. Most of the cases remain under investigation or have been stalled out in court, as it is common in Mexico. And it also influenced the 2018 election, where Andrés Manuel López Obrador used a lot of anti-corruption messages to gain a lot of trust from the people. And also, it lost a lot of trust in the people in PRI because of Peña Nieto's government and all the bad reputation that he had at the end of his presidential time. Yeah. This is an image that um, signs out some of the main universities that were involved and some of the high-ranking people on the universities that no longer work there. So what are some possible changes we can do within Mexico? I think don't dislike the anti-corruption laws that we already have, but we should actually have the framework for them to be useful and for us to be able to use them, because, for example, there are many websites that we can supposedly use to see some of the investment and money in the government, but they don't work or they have no information. So actually making them work would really help. Also, I would like the whistleblowing to be a bit more protected. And I know it's hard because of all the things that happen in Mexico and the violence, but it would also help. We could even put a monetary reward, and I think that would really inspire a lot of people. And thank you. This is the bibliography. Yeah. Oh, and that's all.